Hello everyone, it's Evan Andrew H here, the Zeah Citizen, and I'd like to do a little bit of a different video, a video that I've never done before, or anything really close to it. But a lot of times people ask me, hey Evan, I'm going to make a Zeah Ironman, what should I do first? Or Evan, I'm a Zeah Ironman, how do you want me to go about doing this? What do you think is the best? Which favor should I get first? Things like that. So I'd kind of like to start up a video, maybe a video series that just kind of gives everybody who wants to do a Zeah Ironman a little bit more of an insight on how I would do it if I were starting over again. Now, as you guys know, Zeah is constantly updating, and I'm sure this video will go out of date at some point, especially with the addition of Part 2 and Part 3 of Zeah. However, today is June 13th, and I'd like to just get some things off my mind and kind of share with you guys, if I were making an account today, how I would go about doing it. Let's get started. So one of the first and most important things to note is that when you get off Tutorial Island, you're going to spawn right here. There is no way to make yourself spawn on Zeah. You can't, like, hit something in the system to make yourself a Zeah-only Ironman. You have to kind of do it off of your own free will to go and do this. However, you will need to set your account to be an Ironman. I would hope that you guys know how to do that. If you don't, there's plenty of other videos out there. But basically, talk to Paul and set up your Ironman status. All you have to do is click one button. Just set it to permanent and call it a day. Once you have done that, you're going to want to walk all the way to the south docks of Port Sarim. I'm not going to go and keep the video going through this entire time. However, I will show on the screen right here, this is the route that you want to be taking, and once you get there, we'll be going to Zeah. So this is the Karamja dock area. What you want to do, just go a little bit further south, and on this dock right down here, on the very farthest south dock, go all the way east as far as you can, and you will go and see this guy, Veos. Hit travel on him. And now what's good to know is that you have to be on a members server to use this feature. This challenge will require you to be a member, so make sure you are a member. And once you have your membership either renewed or you are on a members world, go ahead and hit travel, and I'll see you there. So once you are in a members world, you're ready to go. Right-click travel, and you'll be taken to the wonderful land of Zeah. Now, what I would do is I would immediately switch over to your quest tab, which is going to look like this. And you want to switch over to the purple star right there and click on your Shayzien Favor, and then I would just turn this on, especially if you're playing resizable. In fixed, it looks like it takes up a lot of the screen, but if you're resizable, it's going to be a lot different. So the first thing you may ask is, Evan, what quest would you do off the island? And, I mean, the only quest that I think you should ever do is the only one that I've done as well, and that is Druidic Ritual, just to unlock Herblore. However, at the time I'm making this video, there is a glitch that can allow you to get Herblore levels without actually doing the quest, and that's by using the Botanical Pie, I believe, which you can get by thieving and then cooking on this continent. And you could do that to theoretically boost your Herb Lord level 4 and then make attack potions. So that was going around for a little bit right now. It may be patched by the time you guys hear this. However, it is definitely an option. But let's act like that didn't happen. All right. Let's talk about, if you just got in here, what's the very first thing you should do. And my personal belief is that you should start working on favor first. I think if you get all of your favors done, you're going to feel like you have a whole lot of open content to do. Like I said, if I had to start over, if I had to start right now, the very first thing I would do is make myself, or I'd make my way over to the Shayzien area. Now, there have been a couple places that I think that you guys should visit for a little bit. There is a store in the Arceuus district, and there is a store in the Shayzien district that gives you scimitars, it gives you armor, and it gives you staves, all right? Now, you have to have Arceuus Favor for the staff shop, and you have to have Shayzien Favor for the sword and armor shop, but I think that that is the way to go. So the Shayzien district is all the way in the very far southwest side of this place. Just run all the way until you get to what looks like a war zone type. I shouldn't say war zone. Maybe it looks like, you know, the place is kind of beat down and burdened. It looks like this area right here. All right. Now, you're going to want at least 20% favor in the Shayzien household. However, if I were you, I would get 100% favor. It's going to take you 2 hours tops. Might only take you an hour and a half. But it's going to take you, like I said, 2 hours tops, and it's going to open up a whole bunch of content for you later on down the road. If you get 100% here and lock it, and then you start working on getting your Arceuus Favor, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. So, first things first, let's go and get our favor up by doing bandages here. As you guys can see, I already have 100% favor, but I'm just going to teach you guys how to do this. So the best way as a Zeah Ironman that is, you know, level 3, just started out to get Shayzien Favor up, is to bandage these guys in here. Now, you're going to wish you had run energy, but, you know, you won't have agility. But walk down here, take many from this crate. It's either gives you 5 or fills your inventory. Oh, it fills your inventory, nice. And then go to this place right here. You're going to be doing these in, you're going to be doing everything in the bottom floor and the top floor as well. But basically, drop a med pack on them, and then as soon as it takes it, use the other one. Like I said, having run energy is going to help out a lot, but realistically, you won't be able to have run energy. And just keep on doing this for the full inventory. And each one of these gives 0.1%. So every 10 that you use, you will get 1%, and you'll get 2.8% per inventory, which is pretty good. Once you have the entire bottom floor done, go upstairs and do the same thing to these 7 right here. And once all of these are healed, go downstairs and repeat. So very, very, very simple. However, it is definitely going to help you out. Like I said, you can stop at 20%, but I would get 100% here. Just, set aside an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's all it's going to take. And then go ahead and move on to the next thing. Alrighty, so for this part of the video, I'm going to assume that you got 100% Shayzien, which is awesome. Now I'm going to go ahead and take you guys to where the sword and armor shop is that you have to have at least 20% to access. And it's going to be over a little bit to the west of these maple trees right here. Once you get in this building, it looks like it has absolutely nothing to offer. Go ahead, right click, and go up the stairs. And you'll see on the minimap, there is an armor and sword icon. So it's this person right here. Like I said, 20%. Right click and hit trade weapons. And look at that. That's all. That's open for you. Now, I would get the Mithril Scimitar. Work towards getting the Mithril Scimitar. It's only 1,000 coins. Not very hard to get. Or you can also work on getting the Adamant Longsword if you want. Is there a regular Addy Sword? Is there? There is. There's also an Addy Sword, actually. Addy Sword would probably be better than a Mithril Scimitar, but that is what I would start working towards. I would say use the Mithril Scimitar until you can get to the Addy Sword, and then use the Addy Sword, and then move on from there. So this is definitely going to help you. A lot of people, this was not open for me when I was first starting out, but if I had to start again, I would very, very, very much so go there. Now, as far as armor comes and goes, you can go ahead and stock up on some of this if you want, but if you have your Ironman gear, it's going to give you the same stats as Iron. I guess you could swap it out for steel plate legs and a steel medium helm, but all things considered, you're not going to have very good gear no matter what. I guess it would kind of help, but I don't know, just rep your Ironman gear and then maybe train your defense a little bit. But I would say now we need to go and get money to be able to get this scimitar. So the next very common question is, Evan, how would you get money if you're going to be starting off again? Now, I did thieving. However, if I had to start again, I would totally choose the fletching side. It was a much better time investment and pays off a lot better, especially now that you have the woodcutting guild. I think overall that's probably the best way to go. Alright, so to start the fletching grind, you're obviously going to need a knife. So just a little bit to the east of the Shayzien area and a little bit south of the statue is this big mess hall. It says mess hall on the map. This is where you can get a free knife, which is incredibly helpful. It means you don't have to go and get a little bit of extra coins. It means you can just kind of hop right on into all this. So once you get in here, just walk on in here and go over to these cupboards that are over here in the middle area. One of them will have a knife, and I can't remember which one it is. Ah, it's this one right here. All right, so take your knife, and unlike the food and stuff, you can actually take this out. So yep, just take out the knife, and I'm going to go show you guys where I got all my money early on, since you can't have access to the woodcutting guild until level 60. Now keep in mind, you're going to be doing the majority of this with a bronze axe. However, it's going to take a lot of time and effort to get a steel axe, and I guess you could go for the iron axe if you wanted to smith. I would just say go ahead and stay with the bronze axe. You're not going to see too much of a notable difference with the iron and steel axe all the way until 60. I know it sounds bad. It really is bad, but you kind of signed up for that with doing this Ironman challenge. So this is where, you can go ahead and get your bronze axe out if you have it, assuming it's in your bank. I'm just going to go ahead and take mine out because why not? Hopefully I didn't spoil too much of anything. But anyways, once you have your bronze axe and your knife that you picked up for free, a little bit to the north, a little bit to the northeast of that bank is this general store. Alright, so in order to make some good money, what you're going to do is you're going to want to fletch. Now this is going to be a little bit of a process because you're going to want to get 20 fletching. But don't worry, it'll all make your life a whole lot easier if you just do arrow shafts for now. Now arrow shafts are generally speaking really slow. However, you'll get a lot of woodcutting experience off of this, and you're going to want at least 15 woodcutting before you do this. But go ahead, make some arrow shafts. Don't worry about the feathers just yet. There's not a good way to get feathers at this point in time when I'm making this video, except for killing the chickens on your own. Which I'll go and show you guys where to get those in a little bit. But basically just make these. You're going to get 5 experience each. I know, it sucks. Oops. Don't look at that. Anyway, I can't be spoiling stuff. Yeah, just get your 15 fletching from arrow shafts. It'll take a long time, but it will be worth it. And like I said, you can't go wrong with extra woodcutting levels. So let's go ahead and say you've been on the grind for a long time now, and you're ready to start making some money. Awesome. Hopefully you are 20 fletching now. Like, it's a lot faster now. What I would do is I would go ahead and start chopping down these oak trees. You definitely should have the woodcutting level by now. If you don't have 15 woodcutting, I don't know how you managed to get your fletching up that high. But go ahead and start chopping these oaks down. Now at the start, you're only going to be able to make oak short bows, but that's fine. That's good money for you at the start. And eventually be able to make oak long bows. Alright, so after you've gotten your full inventory just by alternating back and forth between these trees, at least that's what I would do, it's now time to go and fletch these and sell these. You'll get a decent amount of experience from doing so. But as soon as you can make oak longbows, go ahead and do that. Like I said, this is exactly how I made my money at the start, and I've never had an issue with money on this account since then. You got to keep in mind, the only thing you're really going to be spending your money on, aside from those weapons that you buy at the start, which are a one-time fee, you'll have to buy a pickaxe at some point, which is a one-time fee, although expensive, but a one-time fee. A staff, like I said, one-time fee, and then runes. Runes you're going to constantly be buying, but you get them for a lot cheaper than what they had originally on the island, and you'll need them for getting your mage up anyway. So once you have this entire inventory done, you'll just go ahead and sell them all to Horus, and we'll see just how much money you get per one inventory. And selling them all, you get 719 coins. So, what is it? It's 4 full inventories then, about maybe 5 inventories to get an Addy Longsword. So, I would just do that. I would save up till you have maybe 10k or so, and then just go, or is it really 10k? It's probably more like 6k, right? So I would do that. Save up until you have 6k. Go ahead and buy the Mithril Scimitar, and then buy the Addy Longsword. Now, you have to know when you're doing this is a grind, guys. There's not really a quote-unquote easy way to do it. If you're deciding that you want to be a Zeah Ironman, you got to know that it's going to take you a little bit of time to do some things. You know, that's kind of how Ironmen work in general, but you're really limiting yourself on things. You know, you can't get fairy rings, you can't get, you know, axes pre-60. I mean, you just can't do a lot of things, so... but once you go ahead and you get that, I'm going to do an inventory of oak longs just to kind of show you guys how much experience, not how much experience, but how much money you get from one of those, and then after that, let's go and talk about doing some Arceuus. So I always used to have a method where I would just go ahead and start automatically fletching them right now as I walk back. One of the big things you want to do if you're going to be doing this is hopping world each time you do this. Because you don't want to continuously sell the stock to the exact same store. And that's a little bit different for what I'm doing right now, simply because I have, you know, I am doing a different kind of bow. But you're going to be doing this for hours, so make sure when you go and you sell, you know, an inventory of oak longs, you go and hop to somewhere else, because you want to be able to make sure you're maximizing your time spent and you're getting the most money for the effort that you're putting in, because eventually these will cap out. So just to kind of hold that principle, I'm going to hop worlds and kind of show you guys how, or how much you would make if you were constantly selling a full inventory. That goes to the same thing if you're going to be selling stuff in Noted. If you're selling stuff in Noted, only sell 20 to 50 in one time, then hop worlds. You want to make sure you're getting your effort's worth. So let's go ahead, hop to World 78. Go ahead, talk to this guy. I guess I only have 24 in my inventory. Let me go and drop that, actually. Trade. And 1.1k. So, and I only had 24. I didn't have 25. So, as you guys can see, it will not take you too long. I did thieving at the start, and although I did like doing thieving at the start for master farmers, I don't think it's something you need to rush necessarily right off the bat. It can be helpful, but you don't really have too much of a need for it. So let's go ahead and let's talk about what to do after you have a little bit of money, after you've bought your Mithril Scimitar, after you've bought your Addy Longsword, and you're trying to move on and just progress a little bit. What you could do is you could go and train your combats at the sand crabs. It's, you know, very, you know, a wise decision. A lot of people would go ahead and do that. They don't hit very hard. You might struggle a little bit because, you know, they might hit a little bit, but I don't know. You could either train there or you could train at chickens. But let's not talk about combat just yet. One of the things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to lock that 100% favor. It's a very big deal. Now, you got 100. Let's say you have 100% Shayzien, right? And you're ready to move on. You're going to want to lock that favor so you can get 100% in Arceuus next. So find Hosa right here by the statue and talk to him. Now, I've already done all of this, but basically, you just want to keep talking to him over and over and over again until he makes you his helper for building the statue. And like I said, I don't know exactly how that's going to sound, but he'll eventually say, how are you on finding architects? And you'll be like, I'm doing this or that. Now, once you have that done and you've talked to him, when you have your 100% Shayzien, let's go back to the Shayzien area. We're going to talk to the architect there, and we're going to lock in our favor. Like I said, very, very, very important thing to do to progress when doing this is making sure you're locking in your favor. Alright, so here we are in the Shayzien Bank, which is about southwest-ish of the armor store. Just go a little bit north of here, and in this building is empty for me, so you guys will just have to take my word for it. In this building, there will be someone named Shayda. Like I said, I already talked to her, so she's teleported now. But go here, talk to her, she will be here. and tell her that you're looking for an architect. If you talk to her enough, eventually she'll say, yeah, I'd like to help, and then she'll disappear just like she has for me. So once you have that done, you will then know your stuff is locked. And just to double check and make sure, if it has a white outline, or not white outline, if the text is white, that means it is locked and it will not change. So make sure your text is white, and when it is, you are good to go. Now the next thing we're going to do is at the very least go get 20% Arceuus. So in the middle of the Arceuus district, maybe a little bit more to the west than the middle, but somewhere around, middle west, midwest, area is the Arceuus Bank. Now, once you get here, we're actually going to be going to the library, which is almost directly north, but you'll have to go a little bit east to get there. Once you get to the library, we're going to be getting our Arceuus Favor to 20% minimum first. However, let me be the first person to say, I recommend you just get it out of the way, because you will find out when doing this that this is I shouldn't say worse, but it's horrible. It's horrible to get Arceuus Favor, and you're going to wish that you didn't have to go back. So we need 20% to be able to access that staff store. Now, to start off with Arceuus Favor, and pretty much the whole time you're doing this, you're going to be helping these people. Now, you can only help one person at a time, and you can't help the same person back to back, but there are 3 different people. You have Zeah, you have Professor blah blah blah, and you have Sam. So let's start off by helping somebody. I think I already have someone. Yeah, I already have somebody else, so that's what it tells you when you already am helping someone, but is this who it is? Yeah, okay. So what you'll say is you'll click help, and they'll tell you to go find something. And now what I do to constantly remember this stuff is, first of all, I go upstairs, go up the northeast staircase, and go all the way up to the top floor. Now you're going to be looking for this NPC that's roaming around called Biblia. There she is right there. Go ahead and talk to her. Say, I'm looking for a book at the top, and you'll say the treachery of whatever book you have. She'll tell you it's in a certain place. Bottom floor, southwestern bay. So let's go to the bottom floor, southwestern bay, and go and find that book now. Now this is basically just trial and error. You're probably just going to have to search for all of these. However, they will be in the same spot for as long as you do this, as long as you don't hop worlds, and as long as the worlds don't change randomly. Now every now and again these bookcases will randomly mix up. However, for the most part, when you're doing these, things will stay in the same book if you do it all in one trip, which is why I advise you to just stay here and get your 100%. So I'll show you what I mean by that. What we're going to do is we're going to go and just search all of these bookcases until we find the book. And in many cases, you might find a different book than the one that you were looking for. If you do find a book that you weren't looking for, just keep it in your inventory and make note of where it's at. And I'll show you what I mean by make note of where it's at in a second. Now, once you've found it, and mine happens to be right here, it'll tell you that you found it. It'll say the treachery of royalty. What I do is I like doing, and just publicly out loud, I don't care what people think, I'll say treachery of royalty, bottom southwest. Yep, bottom southwest. And now, whenever someone asks me for where that position of a book is, I can just use my chat box that I'll just have like this, and I'll be able to just refer back to it. So, because these people will ask for the same books over and over again, and you can only have one at a time. However, when you turn it in, you'll get 1.5% in your Arceuus, and she'll give you this. Now, make sure you didn't skip a part of this video, because if you're losing percentage, that means you didn't lock your favor. To lock your favor, go to Hosa, run through the dialogue, and then go and talk to the architect that was in the Shayzien area, if that's the one that you have first, and do that. If you skipped part of this, then you may have missed that. But anyway, now once you get this book, go ahead and read it, and it'll give you experience. Now, it either gives you ×4 your RuneCrafting level, or it gives you ×11 your magic level. Now, normally I would throw this into RuneCrafting, however, I don't want to level up when I'm not trying to make a video, so I'm just going to go and put this into magic. But yeah, ×11 your magic level, or ×4 your RuneCrafting level in the experience. So, boom, get some magic. That's always pretty nice. So you're going to be doing this until you have at least 20% Arceuus. And all you have to do is, talk to this guy. He's going to ask for something, and just pretty much do the same setup. You go upstairs, you talk to Biblia, and then you write down where it is, and then you just continue on. Now, once you have 20%, I'm going to teach you how to do everything from 20% onwards, because you're going to need to do this at some point no matter what. Basically, when you have 20% Arceuus Favor, go and talk to this guy. And basically, he'll go through and he'll talk to you about dark manuscripts. Just run through the dialogue. I can't replicate that dialogue, but yeah, talk to him. He'll tell you about dark manuscripts, and this is how you get them. So you go upstairs, talk to Biblia again, and once you find Biblia, go ahead and ask her, have you seen any dark manuscripts? She'll say someplace, like right here it says top floor, northwestern bay. We happen to be here, so let's go and find it. And so here I found a dark manuscript. Now, just like everything else, if you get assigned if you get assigned a dark manuscript location and it's in the northwestern area, it'll be right here until the books either switch or you change to a different world. So, however, you can't find them back to back. But once you get the dark manuscript, you can either talk to Biblia again and ask her where the next dark manuscript is, which will show you that that works, or you can take it down just to get the experience immediately. I say you should just wait and just stay up here, because you can just ask her again, and she'll tell you top floor, northeastern bay, and then you know you're already here, and you can go and get a couple. So basically just search every single bookcase. If you find a regular book, go ahead and mark it down wherever it's at. And yeah, this will give you the exact same kind of book that you got for delivering the other books, but this will give you 3% favor. But yeah, you can see it gives the exact same amount of experience as well. I'm just going to throw it into Magic because it makes my life easier for recording this video. But once you have hopefully 100%, then we're going to go and lock it in. Now, to lock it in, just like you did with Shayzien, you have to talk to the Arceuus architect. And the architect is normally going to be east, a little bit to the north, but a little bit northeast of the bank, and she will be in this building. Now, I can't, normally she would be here, because you guys are going to have to take my word for it. Again, she'd be right in this area. However, I've already had her sent to the statue, so she's not here right now. But if you were locking in your favorite, she would be here, you would talk to her, and then your favor would get done. I have a big guide on getting 100% favor if you want to see that. I'll throw a link in the description, or I'll put a link on the screen, or whatever. So that's how you get 100% favor for everything if you're not just an Ironman. Now, the whole reason we did this, we got 20% here just so we could go and get the staff, and we have access to a cheaper rune store. And I'm going to show you guys where that is. It's on the very, 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 the rune store is on the very far east. I believe the staff store is actually right here, actually. So let's go ahead and go upstairs. This is one of the southern buildings, but climb up here, and there they are. So go ahead and trade. Like I said, need 20% favor to trade, and she will show you all of this. Now, hopefully, you have enough money. You've fletched enough, and if you haven't fletched enough, it should be very easy for you to make money now. You get 1K in inventory doing oak longbows, so you can go and do that. I would say buy a fire staff, buy an air staff. You don't really need to buy an air staff, but just buy a fire staff, I would say. And now you're going to want to go and buy some runes. Now, originally, the rune store you have access to is really expensive, which is why I don't suggest doing this until you get your favor done. But it is at the general store, and I'm going to show you guys this general store one just so I can compare the prices and show you guys why you should be rushing your favor. So this is the general store right here, and you can see it has pretty much everything you'd ever need. But look at those prices, right? Actually, here, let me go ahead and spam out my chat box. All right. So these prices right there, you can see they're all like really expensive, you know, 602, 602, 602. That's for a pack. So a pack consists of 100. Now, a little bit north of here, if you have 20%, you can go up these stairs right here, and you can talk to the actual rune seller, and she's going to give you a big, big discount on runes because you're part of Arceuus. So go ahead, talk to this person, trade her, and you guys will be able to see fire, water, air, earth, mind, and just like as a good comparison, 602 all the way down to 430, and then 462 down to 330. And then of course this one actually has chaos rune packs as well, but I've never bought a chaos rune pack. I don't know why you'd need to do that. Maybe with the boss that's coming out soon you could try to do that, but otherwise though, I would say you definitely want to use that store. So let's just go ahead and say theoretically you have 100% Shayzien locked in, you have 100% Arceuus locked in, and you have money for a sword, you have money for your runes, you have money for everything else. But like, Evan, now what do I do? How do I train? How do I start? Well, Magic's very simple. Magic, you can just save spot something or like kill a bat or whatever. Just get your Magic to 13 as fast as possible and start doing some Fire Strike. It's going to be cheap. You have an infinite, I shouldn't say infinite, you have a very easy way of getting money with oak longbows, oak shortbows, that kind of stuff. So that's not going to be too hard for you. However, finding something to kill at a low level might seem kind of hard, but there's a very good place to train, and it's going to be in the very southeast of the Hosidius district. So let's go there first. Now, before we go any further, guys, make sure you have an axe, a tinderbox, and whatever things you're training with. I would say you probably have a bronze sword, and then if you ended up buying the scimitars, you can bring those with you, whether it be black scimitar, steel scimitar, mithril scimitar, or addy longsword. Make sure you bring that with you. Also, I would bring your arrow shafts. Now, a little bit south of here are chickens. And these chickens are going to help you get your cooking up, which you're going to need to do the Hosidius house next, as well as get you to a very good place with your base combat stats. Now, I would just say when you're on your way, fuck it, go ahead and cut one tree. You're going to need it anyway. So your inventory should look like this. Now, right here on the southeast side of Hosidius, you'll see this farming area. Just go ahead, click on the gate, go on through, And you'll see all these chickens right here. These chickens are great. It's multi-combat. You can literally aggro all of them at the same time and go AFK for really, really, really good training experience for someone who's just now starting out. Make sure you get all these in the same pin, though, otherwise you're going to lose experience. Now, I'm going to struggle with showing you guys how to do this simply because if I attack one of these, I'm going to end up one-hitting them, which kind of sucks, but I think you guys will understand what I want to do. Basically, you're just going to want to attack all of these once, and you're going to assume that you're not going to be able to kill them all, right? And then you're going to want to go AFK in a corner and let your guy auto-retaliate them all down. So we're going to do this. Now, like I said, guys, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm going to end up killing them each time. Maybe, I didn't kill one right there. All right, cool. But basically, just get as many on you as you can, and once you have a couple on you, you will then stand in this corner right here and let them all attack you. Now, the reason I say stand in the corner is because feathers stack when they die. And what I mean by that is that if you kill 2 chickens and they both would have had feather drops, they will appear as 1 feather. However, if you do get a whole bunch of these aggroed, and they all die, you'll be able to go ahead and pick up a whole bunch of feathers at once. And you'll be able to AFK for some really good experience. Now, I would definitely pick up the chickens. You're going to want to have 25 cooking before you go on and do Hosidius. So you have your tinderbox here, you have all these chickens, pick up as many as you can, use your feathers on your arrow shafts, go ahead and make some arrows for some extra fletching experience, and then go ahead and pick up all the raw chickens. And once you have a full inventory of chickens, go ahead, light your tinderbox, and then go for it, go ahead and cook them and get your early cooking levels. Now, since you're going to be here for a while, you can stop cooking after 25. It doesn't really matter if you go past 25. However, you do need at least 25 to do the cooking minigame that comes with the Hosidius. So definitely get 25. It shouldn't take you too long. I mean, cooking is really, really fast. But once you have 25 cooking, once you're satisfied with your combat stats, I would suggest getting at least try 20s, 20 attack, 20 strength, 20 defense. Then you can probably move on to rock crabs pretty safely. Now I'm going to go on and show you guys where rock crabs are. Rock crabs were not around when I was doing my 20 stats, so I don't know if you're going to just get fucked when you try to do this. But if you are, I mean, you're going to have to go back to chickens no matter what, or maybe you can go to cows. There's not lower training spots there than sand crabs, but I mean, that's pretty much how it's going to be. You're going to either stay at chickens or cows, and then when you feel like you are big enough, then you can go and move on to sand crabs. Hopefully you have all your food with you, and you can go and kill them. Anyway, just get your stuff, go ahead, attack them. I mean, you guys can see that I'm not getting hit very often. Granted, I have defense, but they're not going to hit too much. Just stay aggroing only 1 or 2 at a time when you're low levels. Eventually you'll be able to aggro 2 and not take any damage, and eventually be able to aggro 3. But you're basically going to be here until, I'd say 40 stats. I would say get that adamant sword from the shop and then stay here until you have base 40 stats. But once you have about base 40 stats, it's going to start becoming like the mid-game for your Zeah Ironman. Now this video is getting a little bit long, so I want to go ahead and finish it. However, if you guys like these kind of videos, just let me know and I can definitely do more. But before I end the video, I want to show you guys how to get your Arceuus Favor based on my own trial and error. Now the first time I did this, I got the saltpeter, I got the compost, and I bought it from this person right here, which I don't know how she managed to spawn outside the shop. But I bought compost from her, and I stored it at my leprechaun, and then I unbanked at my leprechaun by the Hosidius bank. That was a horrible idea. I regret it. It cost a lot of money over time. You have to get like 800 compost, then 800 saltpeter, and it was just not worth it. So what I would suggest is I suggest you go ahead and plow. And the cool thing about plowing is you get farming experience and crafting experience. Now this is going to take a little bit of time, but that's pretty much the same, song and dance for everything on the continent. Alright guys, so I'm literally directly west of the vinery, and you guys can see that there's a plow right here. Now all you have to do, make sure you have your inventory in your hand, and you don't need any requirements for this, you just go ahead and push. This is very tedious. It'll take you about 15 minutes to 20 minutes per 5%. You're going to want to do this until 45%. But like I said, this is a lot faster than doing it any other method. I promise you, you're going to spend just as much time, if not longer, going and buying the compost and doing all that on your own. However, it's up to your discretion. I wouldn't recommend it. This is coming from someone who did that. So basically, you just push it like this, and then whenever it gets stuck, you just go ahead and move it around. And if it breaks, which it should any given time, you'll see it change its shape a little bit, and then all you have to do is repair it. Right here it broke. Go ahead and click repair. You see the handles were broken. You get 10 crafting experience. And if you push it far enough, you'll get 10 farming experience as well, and a little bit of favor. So yeah, slow, but definitely not nearly as bad as doing the compost method. Look, I got 10 farming right there. So just keep at this, be persistent, and when you get 45%, basically you're going to go ahead and do the cooking minigame. And after you do the cooking minigame, you'll go and you'll talk to Hosa, and he'll lock your favor for that. And after that, I mean, that starts to become endgame. You should at some point go back to Shayzien and go do that huge long minigame to go get all of your armor sets. You're going to want to get tier 5 armor. It's pretty much the best gear you can get until you start getting rune drops from the catacombs, which, speaking of rune drops, and then you want to start like looking for your rune scimitar, which I would suggest going to fire giants. They have a much better drop rate. Those are in the catacombs. But I'm going to save all of that for a different video if you guys like this kind of help and advice thing. So let me know if you want to see more of these videos. I'll go in depth. I can even do a full in-depth video for Zeah Ironman, how to get all the favors, since I only really touched on 2, I guess 2.5. But I can like really go into detail if you guys want to see that. I'd be more than happy to make these. It kind of gets me off the Zeah grind as well. So let me know. I've enjoyed making this one. I really have. I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day.